The rain's definitely coming in, so it's time to move everything in. And there we are, nice and dry. And this is where, I guess you could say, the long night begins. But alas, nice to be tucked up under here, nice to be dry. Oh, lovely. It's only a little shower at the moment, but nevertheless, it's good to stay dry as best as you can. The fire is still ticking away. You can probably just about see it there. I chucked the bigger log over it just to protect it. It's a little bit of morale, at least when you look outside, and if it goes out, it goes out. With that rain starting to come in, I wanted to get some pegs made, so I quickly chucked on my chaps and just grabbed some of these sticks just down from next to my tarp. It was raining quite heavy, so I'm sorry I didn't bring you with. It's always a case of not wanting to get the camera too wet. I also ran to go get the birch sap because I knew it would get contaminated with rain, and although it's only been a few hours, we got a fair amount. This is a fairly big billy can. There's a few mil in there anyway, and the branch had actually mainly started to heal up, so I'm going to have a little sip of that. This is really nice birch water, a drink from the forest. Oh. Here goes. Oh. That is like, I don't know how to explain it, cucumber water slash watermelon. It's really, really nice. Now that rain's coming in quite heavy. I don't think my fire's going to survive, so I'm going to climb on under the tarp and just rest for a bit. Despite the rain at the moment, the fire's still tickling away just a little bit, but I'm not too hopeful. But I've got my food cooked. My other food is still warm in the billy can, so in about 5 or 10 minutes I'll have that. And as always with camping, it's about making the most of it, just tucking away. I'm really happy the fire's just tickling away. There's a good bed of embers there, so that log could just keep smouldering. It's protecting what's under there, so we'll see what happens. It's nice to get the little drift of and the whiff of kind of smoke, wood smoke. But I've got a really nice comfy bed to jump into, and normally I'd probably read a book, but I left one in the car. Treasure Island by Bill, not by Bill Binky. Treasure Island from a good friend Bill Kincaid. I was going to read that on this trip, but I completely left it up in the car, and I don't really fancy the hike back in the rain, even though it's eased up now, so that's nice. Really, really kind of on and off at the moment, but that's the nature of being in a valley, being next to a loch, and being in Scotland. There's a reason all the trees are covered in moss. Down by that other fire pit, there's this huge charred log. Now, one side of it's fairly dry. I'm just going to lean it up against that, just to act as a bit of protection from the rain, and if it starts to burn, it starts to burn.
cozy with my dry clothes now. So I'll always have a dry set of nighttime clothes, and that'll be a pair of long johns. Pair of long johns, socks, comfy long sleeve t-shirt. That's pretty much it for the night. And then I've got a fleece, got a couple of fleeces actually. I'll probably chuck in my hoodie with me for the night. It's cold. When I'm out alone in the wilderness, I feel more as if I'm part of nature. It's unbelievably good for my mind. I truly think it is the best medicine. At times I feel like I could be part of the forest, the trees, the leaves and the dirt all at the same time. This doesn't mean it's relaxing. Most of my outings are very tiring. I really do like to challenge myself physically, so it will always involve hard work. As an individual, I'm not saying that I'm not afraid of solitude, but I do enjoy it, at least in small doses. I do not know how I would cope if it were for a long period of time. Just like darkness, most of us enjoy that in small doses. The majority of us will spend the night in darkness and be very comfortable. It all depends on the situation and what surrounds you. I would find it very uncomfortable and would be very fearful if I were at sea in solitude. Being fearful doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. I can often find pleasure in the things I'm afraid of. Oh, that smells good. It smells really good. Spaghetti bolognese. I've been thinking about having this all day. It's the main thing that goes through my mind when I'm hiking is just food. What food am I going to have when I get back? I've been spoiling myself recently when I'm hiking with decent food and just loads of it. Usually I lose weight when I'm camping, but at the moment I'm not. This is going to be good.
Definitely important to make sure that you clean up your site before you leave. I always try to make a point to, any trash that I find, even the smallest micro litter that someone left behind in a previous trip, I will pick up and throw away if I have the capacity to do so. So can't obviously take back 12 pack of beer cans or anything, but if there's some small stuff that I don't mind packing out, I'm always going to do it. Really, that's probably the one small thing that most people can do, and it makes a difference, because the next person that comes to this site, whether it be next week or a year from now, they're going to come in and their experience is going to be tinged just a little bit by seeing like a small wrapper on the ground or something like that, because it just kind of takes that feeling away of that wild feeling. You're like, oh shoot, trash on the ground just like there is on the street in the city. So anyway, consider that when you're thinking about cleaning up. I'll always, once I get everything down and packed up, I'll do a big lawn check and just kind of go through all the areas that I use and make sure that I didn't drop little tiny pieces of wrapper or something when I'm opening a bar or something. So it's easy to do and understandable, but all you have to do is go around and look, and you should be able to find all that stuff. So I think it's extremely important, and it's not that hard to do. Just take a few extra minutes right before you leave. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That was here when I got here. I've just been thinking about picking it up since I got out here, finally got around to it. So this is the kind of micro trash that can add up after a while.